Scorpio, before you were born, your soul chose the most difficult family it could find, not as a punishment, not by accident, but because you are strong enough to break chains that have imprisoned entire generations. While other souls chose harmonious families to learn gentle lessons, you looked at the most brutal challenge and said, "I can transform this." And now, years later, you are here questioning why you were born into a nest of pain, unaware that this question is the beginning of your liberation. You grew up feeling like you didn't belong, as if you'd been placed in the wrong family by cosmic mistake. While watching other children being hugged, you learned to defend yourself. While others received words of love, you decoded silences laden with resentment. Your childhood wasn't about being a child. It was about surviving an emotional minefield where every step could trigger an explosion of anger, manipulation, or coldness. And you quickly learned to read the signs, to anticipate attacks, to become invisible when necessary and impenetrable when attacked. But what no one told you is that this ability to navigate toxicity, to transform poison into power, to die 1,000 times emotionally and be reborn stronger, this is your hallmark as a Scorpio. You weren't placed in this family to be destroyed by it. You were sent to be what this lineage never had, someone conscious enough to stop the transmission of pain from generation to generation. Your toxic family is no accident. It's a soul contract you signed before incarnating, knowing it would be immensely difficult, knowing there would be moments when you questioned whether you could endure it, but also knowing that only you have the intensity, depth, and courage necessary to transmute ancestral patterns of suffering. Scorpios don't come to Earth for easy lives. You come for impossible missions. Think about how many times you felt like you were carrying not only your own pain, but the weight of traumas that weren't even yours. Sadness you inherited without asking. Anger that was passed down like invisible legacies. Fears that existed in your home before you were even born. You always knew, on some deep level, that you were dealing with something bigger than yourself, with repetitive patterns that stretched back farther, from grandparents you never knew, from great-grandparents whose stories were buried in silence. The toxicity in your family has roots that run deep into the soil of the past. Abuse that was never named. Violence that was normalized, abandonment that became a way of life. And all of this was passed down as an inheritance, passed from mother to son, from father to daughter, in an endless chain of pain, reproducing pain, until you arrived, until you were born with eyes capable of seeing in the dark, with the courage to name what was always hidden, with the strength to say no where everyone before said yes out of fear or conditioning. Your karmic purpose is not to fix your family. Let this be very clear now. You cannot save those who don't want to be saved. You cannot heal those who choose to remain sick. Your purpose is much more powerful and personal. It is to break the cycle within yourself. It is to refuse to pass on the poison you received. It is to consciously choose not to repeat the patterns that hurt you. It is to transform the legacy of pain into a legacy of healing for future generations who will come through you or be impacted by you. Scorpios born between October 23rd and November 2nd, you came specifically to break patterns of control and emotional manipulation that have dominated your family line for generations. Your mission is to learn that true love doesn't control, manipulate, or use guilt as a weapon. For those born between November 3rd and 12th, the purpose is to transcend patterns of secrecy and lies that have created an atmosphere of falsehood in your family. You came to bring truth, even when it hurts. And for those born between November 13th and 21st, the mission is to break cycles of violence, emotional, psychological, or physical, that have been normalized as family life. The pain of growing up in a toxic family is particularly intense for a Scorpio because you feel everything in a heightened way. There's no superficiality in your emotional world. When you're hurt, the wound goes deep. When you're betrayed, the betrayal burns. When you're ignored, the abandonment creates craters in your soul, and your family, consciously or unconsciously, has always known this. They've always known where to push to cause more pain. They've always known which emotional button to push to destabilize you. But here's what they never understood. Every attack made you stronger. Every attempt to break you taught you to rebuild yourself in ways no one imagined possible. Every time they let you die emotionally, you were reborn with more wisdom, more personal power, more clarity about who you truly are beyond the roles they tried to force you into. Scorpio, I know there are memories burning inside you right now. Scenes of rejection that were never repaired, cruel words that still echo in your mind years later. Moments when you desperately needed love and received coldness. Nights when you cried alone because showing weakness in your family was an invitation to attack. And maybe no one ever fully validated that pain. Maybe they told you to get over it, to forgive and forget, to understand that family is just like that. But I'm here to tell you something different. Your pain was real. What you survived was traumatic. And you don't need to minimize your experience to make anyone feel comfortable. Your family may never acknowledge the harm they did. They may never apologize, they may never change. And yet, you can heal. You can free yourself. You can transform this legacy of suffering into something sacred. Leave a comment now saying, "I choose to break chains." This isn't just a comment. It's a declaration of war against toxic patterns. It's you acknowledging your karmic mission. It's you positioning yourself as the turning point in your family line. And when you write this, you're sending a message to other Scorpios who are also struggling to understand why they were born into such difficult families. You're saying, I get it. Me too. And we're strong enough for this. The karmic purpose of being born into a toxic family has layers that only reveal themselves over time. The first layer is personal, learning to protect yourself without completely shutting yourself down. Developing strong boundaries without losing your ability to deeply connect with those who deserve it. It's learning that you can be intense, passionate, and vulnerable with the right people while maintaining a safe, emotional distance from those who repeatedly hurt you. Your family taught you through pain that not everyone deserves access to your inner spaces, that not every blood bond is sacred, that you have the right and duty to protect yourself, even when it means disappointing family expectations of blind loyalty. These lessons, however painful they may have been to learn, prepared you for a life where you don't lose yourself in relationships, don't dilute yourself to please, and don't accept emotional crumbs from anyone. The second layer of karmic purpose is ancestral. You carry in your DNA memories of traumas that are not unique to you. Abuse, abandonment, betrayal, violence, all of these may have been experienced by your ancestors and passed down genetically through generations as tendencies, unexplained fears, and disproportionate reactions to specific triggers. You are feeling not only your pain, but the accumulated pain of all who came before you and lacked the tools to process and heal. Your work isn't just about healing yourself, it's about retroactively healing your lineage. When you go to therapy, when you meditate, when you consciously choose not to reproduce abusive patterns, when you learn healthy ways to express anger, when you develop emotional security you've never received, you're healing not only your present, but also sending waves of healing into your family's past and future. You're cleansing your bloodstream of ancient poisons. The third layer is collective and transpersonal. Scorpios born into toxic families and able to transcend these patterns become beacons for others trapped in similar dynamics. You become living proof that it is possible to escape the family hell and create a life based on conscious choices, not on automatic repetitions of trauma. Your personal healing has an impact that goes far beyond you. It touches everyone who witnesses your transformation. But let's be honest about the cost of this mission. Because choosing to break family patterns comes at a price. You may be seen as a traitor by family members who prefer to keep the toxic system running. You may be attacked, blamed, and rejected for refusing to participate in unhealthy dynamics that have always been normal in the family. You may be accused of thinking you're better than others, of changing, of distancing yourself, and all these accusations will hurt. Because even though you rationally know you're doing the right thing for yourself, there's a part of you that still craves family approval, that still wants to be seen, accepted, and loved by the people who raised you. This is the brutal contradiction of being a Scorpio in a toxic family. You clearly see what's wrong, but that doesn't completely kill your desire to connect with these people. The truth is, you can love your family and still keep your distance from them. You can be grateful for their existence without ignoring the harm they've done. You can wish for them to change while accepting that they probably won't. Scorpios have a unique ability to sustain complex emotional paradoxes, to feel love and anger, gratitude and resentment, connection and the need for separation all at the same time. And this isn't confusion, it's emotional sophistication. Your karmic purpose also includes learning that healing doesn't mean mandatory forgiveness. You don't have to forgive those who hurt you to free yourself from them. You don't have to pretend everything is okay to move on. Healing for Scorpio often means integrating anger, honoring your pain, validating your experience, and yet not allowing the past to govern your present. It means carrying your scars with dignity while refusing to inflict similar wounds on others. There's something powerfully liberating in acknowledging that you had a difficult family and that it shaped who you are in painful ways. And yet, you're not doomed to reproduce those patterns. You have choice, you have power, you have awareness. These three things together are stronger than any family programming you received. Your toxic family taught you how not to love, how not to communicate, how not to resolve conflicts. And paradoxically, these negative lessons became your blueprint for doing things differently. Every time you choose vulnerability over knee-jerk defenses, honest communication over power plays, constructive resolution over mutual destruction, you're rewriting the family narrative. You're proving that someone in your lineage can break the cycle. Scorpio, some of the most painful things you've experienced in your family have been being used as an emotional confidant when you were a child and didn't yet have the structure to handle adult problems. Parentification stole your childhood and forced you to mature too quickly. You became your parents' therapist, a conflict mediator, the only sane person in a house of chaos. And this taught you premature responsibility, but also robbed you of innocence. Being the scapegoat, the one the family projected all their problems onto. When something went wrong, it was your fault. When someone was unhappy, you caused it. You became the repository of all the family shadows that no one wanted to acknowledge in themselves. And this taught you about psychological projection, but it also left deep wounds of injustice. Being constantly tested, your family created situations to see if you were loyal, if you would give in, if you would break. Mind games that had no winners, only different ways to lose. Emotional manipulation disguised as love. This taught you to detect falsehood, but also made you suspicious even of genuine people. Being invisible, your successes minimized, your pain ignored, your needs considered less important than those of other family members. You learned early on that your value lay in serving, not in being. This taught you self-sufficiency, but it also created wounds of feeling unworthy of attention or care. Being controlled through guilt, any attempt at independence was sabotaged with massive doses of guilt. After everything I've done for you, you're abandoning your family. You've changed. You're not who you used to be. And this taught you about emotional manipulation, but it also made you question every choice you made for yourself. Each of these experiences, however traumatic, taught you something valuable about human nature, about power dynamics, about how relational toxicity works. You became an expert at detecting manipulation, seeing through masks, sensing when something is wrong, even when it appears superficially fine. These are Scorpio skills naturally amplified by the need for survival. The ultimate karmic purpose of your experience with a toxic family is alchemical. It's about transforming lead into gold, poison into medicine, trauma into wisdom. Scorpios are natural emotional alchemists. You have a unique ability to descend into the darkest places of human experience and return not only intact, but transformed, carrying treasures of understanding that can only be found in those depths. Your toxic family was your descent into the underworld. It was your initiation through fire. It was your training in how to survive the unbearable. And now, on the other side, because you are on the other side, even if you are still processing, you possess wisdom that cannot be learned from books. You know an intimacy of pain that most people will never experience. And this knowledge, this intimacy with suffering, enables you to hold space for other people's pain in ways few can. People who have had functional, loving families often can't fathom the depths of trauma. Not because they don't care, but because they lack experiential reference. You do. You know every layer of what it feels like to be hurt by those who should protect you, rejected by those who should accept you, attacked by those who should love you. And this visceral understanding makes you a potential healer, a guide for others still in the darkness. Your karmic purpose isn't to suffer eternally for what your family did. It's to use that suffering as fuel for transformation, your own and that of others. It's to take the emotional intensity that characterizes Scorpio and direct it not toward revenge or chronic resentment, but toward creating something new. New patterns, new ways of loving, new ways of relating that honor intensity without the need for toxicity. You're learning that you can be deeply emotional, intense, passionate, all Scorpio qualities, without having to be in destructive relationships. That you can have powerful, transformative connections that don't leave you bleeding. That you can love with everything without losing yourself in the process. These lessons wouldn't have the same impact if you'd grown up in a family where love was safe and predictable. Scorpio, you are in the process of becoming the ancestor your lineage needed. Someone who says no to chains of abuse. Someone who consciously chooses not to pass on trauma to the next generation. Someone who retroactively heals all family pain by refusing to perpetuate it. You are the point of transformation. The link that breaks the chain. The one who transmutes poison into medicine. And yes, it's hard work, it's lonely sometimes, it's often scary. You'll have moments of doubt where you wonder if it's worth it, if it wouldn't be easier to just accept family toxicity as normal and stop fighting it. But then you'll remember who you are. Scorpio, Phoenix, the one who dies and is reborn, the one who transforms, the one who doesn't settle for superficialities or half-truths. You came to this family precisely because it needed someone with your strength, someone capable of looking directly into familiar shadows without looking away, someone brave enough to name what has always been hidden, someone powerful enough to survive the rejection that comes with speaking the truth. You were chosen for this mission before you were even born. And when you finally fully integrate your karmic purpose, when you understand that a toxic family wasn't a punishment, but rather your chosen arena of transformation, something shifts. Anger transmutes into understanding without losing its strength. Pain transforms into wisdom without losing its truth. Trauma becomes a story of overcoming without losing its importance. You become free, not from your story, but within it. If this video touched deep places in your soul, if you recognized your own struggle in these words, share your experience in the comments. No need to share specific details. Just acknowledge that you too are in this karmic battle of breaking family chains. Your courage in admitting this publicly may be what another Scorpio needs to see today to keep fighting. Subscribe to the channel because your mission to break family patterns is long, and you'll need constant reminders of why you chose this difficult path. You'll need validation when your family attacks you for setting boundaries. You'll need strength when guilt tries to pull you back into toxic dynamics. Turn on notifications to receive guidance that will support you in this karmic transformation. You didn't choose an easy family. You chose an impossible mission. And you, Scorpio, are exactly who the universe knew could accomplish it. Your suffering has purpose. Your pain has meaning. Your struggle is worth it. You are breaking chains that have imprisoned generations.